Have you been wanting to be a trailblazer, but you missed out on our Trailblazer book launch party? Well, you get to listen in on one of our panels today in this episode. Hello, lovely dynamic women, and welcome to the Dynamic Women podcast. I am Diane Rolston, your host. And today we have an amazing panel from our Trailblazer Secrets book launch party that we just had. Now you're going to listen to our moderator and our panelists, all of who are authors in the Trailblazer Secrets book put out by myself, Dynamic Women. And there are 42 plus me authors in this book. And so you get to hear today from 4 of the authors. Each of them have shared their stories, their secrets in their collaborative piece in the book. And the joy is that today you get to hear them in this episode talk a little bit more about their thoughts on Trailblazers and why they wanted to be part of this book. And so I encourage you to listen in, to look for moments where you can be inspired and motivated and activated to get into action to blaze your own trail. Enjoy.
Yay. Thank you so much, Diane, and really honored to be here with these amazing ladies on the panel and everyone here, of course. And I'm just thought of, we just start off with really what brought us into the book. And Diane has done some great descriptors and shared a little bit in the few people that shared their piece. It builds up some excitement, but I really wanted to know from each of you, what brought you into the book? So we'll start with you, Leah. Did I say that correctly? Perfect.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Paula. So I've been known as a trailblazer most of my life. Mm-hmm. And I got into coaching in my 20s, which was when nobody knew what it was. And my then boyfriend, who was a financial advisor, told me that it was a no-end career and I would totally fail. And he didn't know why I was doing this. Mm. And a year later, I was making more money than he was. Mm. And so I said yes to this because I want other women who have a knowing in their heart to do something that they know is right for them and on point for them, to just follow that, whether the people around them support them in it or not, because it's usually something nobody's ever done. And especially if it's something nobody's ever done, that's when we know, like, we need to get out there and do it.
Yeah. Fabulous. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that really speaks to that, the aspects of trailblazing that Diane described, that bravery and the courage that we need to step forward. Tina, what about for you? What brought you into the book?
So similar to Leah, I started my coaching journey in my 20s as well. And I just felt that there was something in me that wasn't ordinary. All my life, I always said, whatever they could do, I could do better. And that was always my mission. And everything that I do, I'm always just trying to blaze through and pave the way for the younger generation that's coming up behind me, to know that there is no limits, but the limits that we put on ourselves. And we don't have to limit ourselves, and we don't have to go with the status quo. We can break down the barriers, act in spite of fear, and don't take no for an answer.
Oh, I love it. You must have been one heck of a teenager.
A little bit.
Yeah, but it's so true. And sometimes we need the examples from other people. And those people sometimes come with a big bit of stubbornness that says, no, I can do this. That's fantastic. And Ashley, what made you say yes to coming into the book?
Actually, I decided I have a bit of a mantra to do cool things with cool people. And when I was approached about this, that fit the bill. So that's kind of how these opportunities just keep coming into my path. And I'm so grateful for them. And I just continue to follow along. Professionally, my career is in safety, and my piece is much more about leadership. I've coached many women in particular, but also some men along the way. And in my industry, I've gone far fast. So I want to help other people to go far faster. And that's kind of my goal with this.
Yeah, Fabulous. I really love that. Cool things with cool people, far faster. Yeah. And that's a great segue maybe to the next question, which is, how do you feel about trailblazers in society? Like, they're important. So I'll mix it up a little bit. Tina, we'll start with you.
So, for me, Paula, trailblazers are people who literally blaze their way through life as they approach new and uncharted territories, right? As Diane said earlier, they're pioneers, they're innovators, they're creators, they're pathfinders. So, in our society, we need people who are not going to go with the flow, people who are going to question the status quo and find new ways of doing new things. And I think it's just so important that they are the people who, we look at and we're like, oh, they're different, but you know what, they're different in a good way. And so it's important for our young generation to know that it's okay to stand out, it's okay to be different, because those are the people who are the million and billionaires
Yeah.
today, right?
Yeah, that's really important, that it's okay to be different, and it's to stand out and not hide ourselves in our differences, because there's a lot of pressures on to conform. There's a lot of pressures to conform. Leah, what are your thoughts?
Well, for me, I think about the trailblazer as somebody who takes risks. And we're the ones who are willing to make the mistakes. While we don't let the fear of failure stop us, we actually face our failure and use that as stepping stones to help ourselves and others get to the next level of innovation in an industry or with a product. And so for me, trailblazers, we've got courage and conviction and resilience and a lot of drive and ambition to see things change in the world.
I really like what you talk about failure. Failure is not an end. It's just the next step. And if we change our perspective on, let me fail, let me learn a little, it opens up so many other doors. And Ashley, your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that when you look at trailblazing, it's just somebody who's into continuous improvement and continuing to move forward. And again, one of the things I like to keep in mind is to bring people along on that trail. How do we help other people keep that momentum and go? And because when we collaborate with people and when we're bringing people along with us, we have a great opportunity for that energy to build. When you're doing it all by yourself, sometimes you might be at the lead, but when you've got people coming along, it's just so much more energy and momentum. So I love that in being a trailblazer.
Yeah, the momentum piece is so important. It's like lighting a candle, right? You can continue to light more and more and more. And I was really torn, sort of. I'm not sure how much more time we have, but this last question, I'm going to start with you, Ashley, and just pick up where you left off on momentum. But what is your hope for the readers in the book?
Absolutely. So inspiration, of course, like we hope to inspire others to believe in themselves. Imposter syndrome is a big buzzword right now, and it can be easy to fall into that trap. And hopefully people reading this book realize, like, I'm just a normal person, but you just get out there and start doing things. And again, it goes back to the momentum. You just keep going and just keep falling forward, really, if you're willing to do it. And looking for continuous improvement and bringing out the best in those around you while you do it for yourself as well.
Yeah. I love it. And I did have the honor of reading everybody's. And so my hopes for the readers is that there'll be, and there's such a diversity of stories, is that whoever reads the book will see one or two pieces, and maybe even more, will just speak directly to their heart. Because there's quiet trailblazing, there's loud and boisterous and out there, but it's something for everybody. I'm going to go to Tina next. So what is your hope for the readers?
So my hope is that, people will feel inspired to take action in spite of fear, be motivated and driven by all the 42 women in this book and the journeys that they have been on, and the inspiration that they're giving us. So in one book, there's so many opportunities to learn and grow and be better than you were today.
Yeah. Yeah. And Leah, what about yours? What are your thoughts and hopes for the readers of the book?
Yeah, my hope is that it nudges people who have been on the fence or even hiding behind the fence in things that they've wanted to actually trailblaze in order to take just that first step into being a pioneer onto that path. And, even if they're just dipping their toe into the water, to just give them that nudge, because they can see from all of these 42 stories that are in there, there's so many different ways to do it. There's so many different avenues you can go. There's so many different industries you can do it in. And it doesn't have to be a brand new idea. It can be like, for example, my piece is Money is an Evil, Charge What You're Worth. And it's addressing the poverty consciousness in the spirituality industry. So I'm taking on a concept at this point now. So there's so many different ways you can do this. And I just think that the book is a great way to help people see all the ways they can be a trailblazer in their own life.
Yeah, yeah. And I really like that idea that it's about perspectives and concepts, that it's not just product. It's about, and it's the inner growth. Nothing in nature grows from the outside. And it just really grounds us and reminds us. I just want to do a time check if we have time for one more.
Yes, you do. You have until 4:23.
Okay. So I'm going to make this really personal now. So I've forgotten the order I've started in, so I'm just going to start with Tina. How have Trailblazers impacted you, or a mentor, or maybe one particular inspiration? That's the question.
So for me, Paula, the first trailblazer that I had the honor of being surrounded by was my mom. Yeah, so we experienced, sadness and unfortunate events early on in my life. And so she had to raise three small children at a very young age when we lost my dad. And, to hear her story and to see and experience her journey, she never gave up. She never stopped. And she trailblazed through everyone and everything in order to give us the life that we get to live every day. So I'm emotional just thinking about it. But, someone who stands out as a leader, they point the way, they take the risks, and they figure it out because they have to. And they're growing along the way, but they're suffering all at the same time. But they know that they're doing it for a greater good. And so it's very inspirational.
Thank you so much, Tina, for sharing such a poignant story, your life story, and your start, and I speak for everyone, just honored to hear those words. So thank you so very much.
Thank you
very much. Ashley, what about yourself?
It's hard to follow Tina because I had a similar feeling and thought with thinking of my mom, because I agree. I also there were some challenges in childhood and that sort of thing. And my mom was doing it on her own and just worked so hard to give me so many opportunities and so much inspiration, and, staying committed to herself and her family, and still being a very powerful woman in her space. So I have similar feelings and thoughts, and we didn't collaborate that before. So I'm going to just leave it there and say that, yeah, we're, that whole theory of, may we be strong women, may we raise strong women. And that really rings true here. So not surprising that we have a similar experience.
Yeah. And it's true what you say, strong women raise strong women, and we can't replace those early ingrained and embodied examples for us, where it's just part of the DNA, the cellular, whatever. Leah, how about yourself? Trailblazers impacting you?
Yeah, so I'll universalize this a little bit since
Oh.
you guys grounded us in the personal. It's when I think about this, it's actually in every conceivable way, because every modern convenience that we have today has started with a trailblazer trying something out.
Mhm.
Has started with somebody getting capital to start the project, has started with somebody saying like, hey, what if we X? Or what will happen if we Y? And especially if you look at the last 100 years, there has been more change in the last 100 years than in like the 500 years or 1200 years or something like that. I'm not a history buff before then. And so we've had so many trailblazers in our lifetime that it's almost like this whole generations of trailblazers have been coming here and making, just elevating us, I think, is how I would put it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when I wrote my piece on the sisterhood of determination, was really to honor, well, my mom, but also the women of before, and the sacrifices and the work that they had to stand so tall and be so brave to be so different. And yeah, so that, anyways, that was how trailblazers have impacted me, is just like I feel honored to be here today in this time, from the sacrifices and the work of those, and especially women, but of all trailblazers that have come before. So I think we're right on time. And I'll hand it all back to Diane.
Amazing. I'm just trying to find myself so I can spotlight myself too. My image disappeared. Spotlight me, please. I'm gonna come up in a moment.
There you are. There you are.
Yay.
Before all of you leave, thank you so much for being part of the, first of all, being part of the book. Each of your individual stories, secrets, tips, expertise need to be shared in the world. And that's why I felt the calling 3-4 years ago to start these books, because I thought I keep meeting such cool people with amazing stories, and it's not enough that I get on stage and share their stories, or in a program I speak about someone. I really wanted the readers to be able to experience you and hear the words directly from your pen, I guess, not your mouths, except in the panel here. So thank you all for sharing. Great trailblazers are not holding on to their information. They give it freely. And so thank you so much for participating in the book. Thank you for being part of the panel and for being here today. And I know that your secrets, well, they're public now, but your secrets will definitely create a ripple out in the world. So thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Diane.
Diane.
Thank you.
Wow, wasn't that amazing? I'm so glad that you got to listen in to just a piece of our book launch party. If you want to watch the whole thing, then I encourage you to click the link in the show notes. And you have the opportunity today to also pick up the Trailblazer Secrets book. You don't want to miss out on 43 trailblazers sharing their secrets and stories and tips on how to blaze a trail. They come from all walks of life. They're diverse in their age, in their culture, in what they wanted to share about, whether it's from their personal life, their personal growth, their business, or their career path. There is something for everyone in this book, including some bonus material of when Jack Canfield interviewed me. Also, I talk about what is a trailblazer, 5 clues that you could be a trailblazer. I also talk about the 3 things that are stopping you from getting ahead and having the success you want, along with so many other things. So again, thank you for listening. Make sure you hit subscribe and share with a friend. Sharing is caring. Until next time, stay dynamic. Bye.